Located on 225 acres in Garden City, Long Island, Nassau Community College, a member of the State University of New York system, has close to 20,000 students attend the school each year. The college mascot is Leo the Lion, and these are his stories of the school's absolute best and brightest who have graduated over the past 50-plus years. So let's catch up together as the Alumni Association of Nassau Community College proudly presents Lion Tales on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Welcome to Lion Tales, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation. My name is Aurora Workman. I am president of the Nassau Community College Alumni Association. I'm here with my friend and co-host, Dr. Lynnda Nadien, a proud graduate of Nassau Community College, and together we'll share stories that will inspire, uplift, and often amuse you.
Each week, Aurora and I will introduce you to alumni of Nassau Community College interested in sharing their experience here at Nassau Community College, along with the secrets to their success.
Yes, on behalf of the Alumni Association, we congratulate the new board of directors, and we expect a year of alumni happenings and contacts made with alumni.
Look for many new and exciting events on the Alumni Association's social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and our web pages at nassaucommunitycollege.edu/alumni. If you, our listening audience, has any positive news you would like to share about Nassau Community College, alumni, engagements, births, graduations, weddings, and or accolades, email us at alumni@nassaucommunitycollege.edu and we will shout you out.
Well, today's guest is Stephanie Lombardo, class of 2008. Her professional background is in video production and business with a main focus in media. She earned her associate's degree here from Nassau Community College and went on to Hofstra and earned a bachelor's in film production. And then she went on to LIU Post and earned an MBA in 2012. She works with the Citigroup Bank as a video production. Right?
Yeah, that's it.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much. That was a wonderful introduction.
So tell us about your decision to come to Nassau.
Well, I have to say, honestly, in hindsight, it was one of the best decisions I made in my college career. It really did give me the jump start that I needed. And it also brought me so much confidence because I really found myself and was able to pursue so many passions. So in looking at different colleges when, I was getting out of high school, maybe a junior in high school, Hofstra was definitely on the list along with a few others. But then my parents suggested, well, think about Nassau, really consider that. And after, considering it for a little bit, really, when you think about it, after 2 years, you get a degree and you could virtually go anywhere afterwards. And it proved to work out because afterwards, like you said, I went to Hofstra.
And what were some of your favorite courses that you had here?
Oh, there were so many. I focused in media, so there was television production. I remember in one of my TV classes, we did a film about tattooing. So we interviewed students on campus, and it actually won a award on campus for one of our events. So that was really exciting. And then, of course, I was involved with the radio station, WHPC.
90.3.
Yeah, exactly. From day one and coming here, I felt at home, and it's been my home ever since.
What were some of the methods you learned at the radio station that would help you in your career now?
Well, so many. I mean, public speaking, for one. I mean, you learn how to talk to people. You learn how to ask the right questions. But also, when it comes to creative content, you learn how to craft a story as well.
Yes.
And I was always interested in broadcast, not just film production, but radio.
Yeah.
And I was able to kind of exercise that creativity when I came here. I was on the news show, I was on the morning show, and then I eventually created my own program here.
Well, that's, and that's one of the things that I really love about WHPC 90.3 is because not only are we doing shows, but it gives us an opportunity to learn a new, trade or learn. I mean, I'm older, way older than you, and it was amazing to be learning the things that go into radio and even like with scripts and production and being a producer and finding our guests and having our show.
Yeah.
So, yes, it is a very great learning tool. And so, I just want to shout out the director of this wonderful station, award-winning station, Sean Novat, for giving us that opportunity. So who are some of the professors that you were? Because I went here in the 80s. and I remember my professors. And,
really?
And I try to contact those who are still here. Some have passed and gone on, but it's amazing that they remember also.
Yeah, it's so true.
Absolutely.
You really do make a strong connection, and that's really what a good college experience wherever you go should be, is making those professional connections. So many of my television and media courses had great professors. I just also remember you shouted out Sean Novat here, but prior to him, his predecessor was Jim Green.
Yes.
And he was my mentor. He really, made me feel comfortable with the whole station. So he really is the first person that comes to mind. He wasn't a professor per se, but he was a big influence in my experience.
That's wonderful.
And then upon graduating from Nassau Community College, you went on to really earn significant degrees in film. So tell us about that transition from a community college into
a four-year
university.
It was seamless, I have to say. I mean, most of my credits transferred over to Hofstra. I mean, location-wise, you can't go wrong.
Right.
And then it was just kind of a nice new experience going into another 2-year experience. It was more advanced. I learned more theory. I learned more about actually producing, which is more of the financial aspect. So after graduating Nassau in 2008, going to Hofstra for another 2 years in 2010, it didn't create any monotony. It was a nice breakup between the two experiences. And then afterwards, I went on to get my master's in business, which turned out to work out even better because in the job market, I was able to have that background of business and creative arts behind me.
Absolutely. And so when did you realize that film was a passion of yours?
At a very, very young age, actually. When I was really little, I became enamored with entertainment. When watching movies, it kind of encompasses so many different art forms, and you're able to just engulf yourself in a story. I learned video editing when I was 11 years old, thanks to my dad, who gave me an editing system, because I was like, how do they do all those special effects? And I taught myself, and I said to myself, this is fun. Like, I should do this as a profession.
Right.
And that's when I made a decision to pursue it. And it wasn't until I got into college when I learned more of the theory behind it and the reasoning and how you can tell a story even better through editing, through producing, and really the whole meaning. It didn't just become this fantasy world. It was like, okay, this is like the real deal. You could make an impact with it.
Yeah. What are some of the tools that they're using now? I mean, in terms of software, and I know that you can probably, I think some people like, the primitive types of equipment, and, what are you using, or what do you know about in terms of equipment?
We're going to come back, and we're going to continue with that conversation. You're listening to Lion Tales on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Aurora Workman, along with Dr. Lynnda Nadien, and our guest today is Stephanie Lombardo, a video editor and film producer who has worked for several companies. So we were just asking you about the equipment and the tools of the day.
The tools of the trade.
Yes.
Yes. Well, so many different products are out there now that are consumer-based, but still the big players are Adobe Premiere for editing and Avid for editing.
Okay.
I still use Final Cut Pro 7 personally. I am still a fan of that software, but in my current job, I use Adobe Premiere. I think it's like driving different cars, right? They all do the same thing, but there's just different formatting. And then if you want to go into like camera equipment and audio equipment, I mean, Sony and Canon are huge players.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, everything is so consumer based. You could have a smartphone that shoots in 4K, and I think that's what video has come to. Like, so much content and information is consumed through video, and it's almost becoming, I don't want to say more powerful, but more impactful than like print. So many people don't want to sit down and read anything. They want it in a 5-second video.
Right.
And that's where thinking about how to tell a story in a creative way visually comes in hand. So it's such a powerful medium, and that's another reason why I'm so passionate about it.
Well, a while ago, you did a film called Beauty.
Yes, I did.
Okay, and
your daughter was in it.
Yes, my daughter was in it.
Yes.
So tell us about that. It was a great project.
Well, thank you. Yeah, for a long time, I've had this theory that beauty is all around us. You know, you just have to open your eyes to it. And I think that's kind of the creative mindset that I have. Beauty is not just physical. We're not talking about makeup and hair. We're talking about, something like this interview. It's a beautiful experience, giving of yourself. And I wanted to put that into a montage of what other people viewed as beauty. So as your daughter expressed in the video and what other women that I interviewed thought of, it was more of the, they gave us examples of what that meant to them. And I wanted to just put it out there as a feel-good piece. And it's not just for women, by the way. It was for, men could feel different types of beauty as well.
And that was great because now coming up, we see a lot of filmmakers have done something similar to what you've been doing.
Cool.
And Lynnda was just telling us how Yoko Ono is doing something similar.
Yeah, she's doing something. If you go to imaginepeacearising.com, she's actually accepting photographs of women's eyes, and then the women would respond in their own language and talk about the manner in which they may have been harmed by men in society and or something harmful that occurred. And then she's going to create that on in a display and then travel the country with it so that women also have a voice.
Wow.
And I thought that was, so interesting because, the eyes are the mirror to the soul. And she must be thinking that at this point in her life, as, she's 86 years old, that she would, again, represent women in that positive way.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You see how, and that's beautiful. I think that's the creative mindset that I was talking about, where you could see so many different angles around us and create a story out of it in a beautiful way.
So what are some of the things that you're working on for you? Because I know you're always working and doing something in media.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've actually been focusing a lot more on music production. I'm a musician as well. So I love writing music and creating my own melodies and songs. So I've been working on a few new tracks this year and looking to release them and start performing out a lot more.
So great. Do you perform in clubs now, or?
The last gig that I had was with the Velvet Underground Experience, which was an exhibit in Manhattan all dedicated to the 60s band, the Velvet Underground. And I was the keyboardist and backup vocalist for the lead singer that was there every Thursday night. So that was a cool 3-month residency. And now in the couple of bands that I'm currently in, we're still looking to kind of place ourselves, but the venues really vary. It depends. Yeah.
I would assume so, because there's so many in it, and you walk in and then there you are on stage.
So
that's fun.
It's
a good time.
So what do you do with Citigroup?
So for Citigroup, I manage the video production team there. I'm currently an assistant vice president, and that's been a new role for about last year and 9 months or so.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But actually, this was my first job right out of college, believe it or not, working as an editor in the team that I currently manage. I worked at Citi for the first 3 years. I left. I wanted to experience new things. I worked for NYU for a little bit. I worked for a couple of different creative companies. I freelanced on Long Island doing a commercial, and I was able to just kind of stretch my experience. I worked for a book publishing company for a couple of years, also doing their online video content. And this is like a testament to never burning your bridges, because I was still in touch with people from Citigroup after all those years and saw this opening opportunity, and I said, let me see if I can add value here.
That's wonderful. And that's a good note for all our listening audiences. Never burn your bridges, because you may need to go back.
And it might work out for you.
You are listening to Lion Tales. Today's guest, Stephanie Lombardo, is a film producer with an MBA. Currently, she has created her own film company and a proud alum of Nassau Community College. My name is Lynnda Nadien, along with Aurora Workman, on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Sweet strawberry icing. You're in Goodwill, and just past that vintage denim jacket you spot miniature donut earrings. You lean in. That's the scent of shopping success. Because at Goodwill, every item you buy funds local job training and more. So bring home those donut earrings and bring home so much good to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Lion Tales, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation, on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Dr. Lynnda Nadien, along with Aurora Workman, and our guest today is Stephanie Lombardo, a film producer with a dual background in business and creative arts. So tell us a little bit about producing films and videos and what that looks like in the job that you currently have as VP and how you coordinate that.
So it's a huge different step process from, scripting. First you have an initial idea and then you're working with your colleagues. You have to, getting the right people to get on the team is so important. Right. And that's part of what I love too, is like knowing your resources and, this person specializes in this. Okay, I'm going to pull them on board for this project and that project. First is scripting, storyboarding, project management, which is all about timeline and making sure that everything is done correctly, pulling your resources for equipment, location, all the way up to final edit. There's so much.
And then do you have a budget?
Sometimes.
Yeah,
it depends on the project. The projects that we do currently are all internal, so and we're an internal team, so there's really no budgeting. But for other companies and other freelance projects that I might take on, there's always a budget, and you have to be cognizant of that. And that's where communication is so key. You have to always be on the same page with the client and with your team, making sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed.
And then do you work with actors with these projects now, or it's more
not at
like in the corporate?
No, this is all a lot of live broadcasting, a lot of interviews for senior level managers, internal content like that. There's no current models or actors that we need, but for other projects outside of my 9 to 5, if I'm doing a music video or something, then it's a different story.
Right.
Yeah.
And so some of your creative opportunities that are coming up, what would some of your goals for the future be?
Sure. There's creative opportunities everywhere. So, for example, in the past, I've created some web shows, and I'm thinking of a couple of more ideas for different web shows as well. That's still in the works, so there's nothing formalized. But as I mentioned, I think that my focus is going to be more music-based outside of work.
So are you looking to, or will you be making videos for up-and-coming artists?
Maybe. Or maybe some of my own videos for some new songs that I want to put out there.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, exactly.
And are you using Long Island, beautiful Long Island, New York, as your base?
Oh, yes, always. Always. There's so many different nice locations we could use.
They're beautiful. They're beautiful.
And what are some of your favorite, let's say, music videos and or films? Like, I sort of miss MTV and just putting the channel on and watching all the videos.
Absolutely.
And that helped everyone to become familiar with artists.
Sure.
And now they do have a video channel, but when I put it on, I don't know who the artists are. I want to stay as updated as possible.
I know.
But what are some things you're looking at lately?
Well, kind of to your point about MTV, I think YouTube and online content is really being driven to promote these artists now. So if you wanted to find more of those music videos, YouTube, Vimeo, that's the way to go.
That's all
Michael Jackson was a pioneer in music videos. Yes. He will always be one of my inspirations because he went over the top, but it was so effective.
Me too. I used to think I was going to Indiana to be part of the family and hang out with them. That was my goal.
I went to Indiana.
Sister.
Yes. I went to Indiana just to see the Jackson 5 Street.
You can see the house in Gary, Indiana. Yeah, I have to go there.
I want to go.
It's like, how people want to go to Graceland. Well, no, I wanted to go to Indiana to see where the Jacksons came from.
I know.
Is there anything else to do in Indiana besides see Michael's house?
So as you're looking at your videos and you're in your creative process now for yourself, are you more ballads or are you more rock?
It's more pop and ballads, So dance pop, ballads, top 40 style. But I also love jazz. I also love contemporary. I try to throw those elements into my songwriting, but it's such a beautiful catharsis, and it's something that's always there for you. And I started playing piano when I was so little, so it's kind of ingrained in me, And you hear musicians that say, growing up they had music all around them, which was true. There was always music in my house.
Yeah, and I mean, developing, people don't realize, like, songwriting is an art form, and there is sort of a way to do it. They always ask famous people, how did you do it? The last Paul McCartney, well, how did this come out? And it's hard to explain it, but, structurally, it's difficult to really cultivate a really good pop song.
Sure.
It's not as simple as it might sound.
No, it's not simple, but the key is don't overthink it. Because when I write, it's coming from inside. It's like, like you're writing it into a diary, and there's really, you have to just let it flow, because if you just sit there and say, I'm going to write a song today, it's like you get roadblocked. You have to surrender to that creativity.
That's how my son writes. He just, he's out of his experiences.
Yeah.
And when I'm hearing, when he finally allows me to hear some of those lyrics, it's like, wow, you experienced, in this discovery.
Right.
It's
it is
discovery. So.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad that your son does that.
Yeah. And it's, so a lot of music does come out. So how are you using your business and creative arts talents?
Oh, wow. Talents. That's a huge word. Well, in my professional job currently at Citigroup, my background in business and creative really worked out. I mean, managing a team, first of all, if you're a manager, people are your business, plain and simple. I mean, that's your number one priority. And you have to pay it, because they're the ones that are going to need to be motivated to get the job done, right? And then the creativity comes in when you either have an idea or somebody else brings an idea to a table. And then you could figure out, okay, how can we put this together, and what are some other visual elements, for example, that you can bring to a project, so many of those things. And having that kind of like as a dual background is really, really puts you on a different edge.
That is so great. And, from just the conversation so far, I hope our students who are listening understand that, you can't burn bridges. You have to know your resources.
Yes.
You have to build a team, a good team, by knowing who can do what and who can bring something to the table.
Yeah.
You're listening to Lion Tales on the voice of Nassau Community College, WHPC 90.3. My name is Aurora Workman, along with Dr. Lynnda Nadien, and our guest today is Stephanie Lombardo, film producer with a dual background in creative arts and business. So, Stephanie, as we were talking, we were bringing out all these points that you have brought to the table in terms of growing and and knowing the business and having your passion. What would you say to students in terms of, this of opening up and broadening their horizons?
Well, the first thing that I would say is, and what worked for me is, whenever you make a next move somewhere, ask yourself, what value can I bring? Really go into something with your eyes wide open. And I'm talking specifically about job opportunities. Right. Really get to know what the hiring manager and what your current manager is looking for, and say to yourself, okay, I think I could work with this, or I think I can work with that, and here's some gaps that I think I can fill. And if you could answer those questions and you feel like you can really bring value, then that's your answer. That's what helped me decide to take on the position that I'm currently in, and it really was one of the best decisions I made in my career so far. If you're a student, then I would say get involved in extracurriculars that the campus has to offer. If you're at Nassau, you have a tremendous amount of resources there, because it's not just about going to class and going home and doing homework. Make connections with your professors. Make connections with other colleagues. This is a networking opportunity. And choose a college that you feel can provide you that leap after you graduate, too. What's a pool of resources that you can go to.
And that's when, and great amount of students don't understand to look at that next step,
No,
and
you
have to look at it. I mean, they're in the now, but you have to look at that next step, so you can start building for yourself. We're always going to be young at heart.
But I think there's so many when you're a student and when you're young, it's so easy to be confused, and you're trying to figure things out. What do I want? What do I love? The next step isn't clear because you're just living now. But what helped me, and as I said earlier, like, explore your passions. When I was here, I did broadcasting, TV, all this stuff, and it really grew my confidence. And you ladies know that confidence is key to any success, because when you have that confidence, you could really go anywhere. You walk into your room,
doors
and then people see you.
And people notice that. Wow.
And I think developing that over time. I think at Nassau, when you start becoming successful in taking courses and doing well in them and meeting great people in the courses, then I think when you come out, you say, "Okay, I'm ready for the next thing."
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
My mentee was Professor Ken Jenkins, and I was that person that I had a job, I came to school, had to go home, take care of 2 kids, my nieces, they weren't mine.
Oh, wow.
And so he sat there and said, you're not getting any of the college experience. Yeah. You're not taking in any, because I was 16 when I started here. So he's like, you have a house? I said, I have responsibilities. But when he encouraged me to become part of the student clubs here, to identify other students from other areas, because you know how Long Island is in clusters, but now I'm meeting people from Garden City, from Huntington Station, from North Hills, and that was really broadening, and we reciprocated, in our conversations. The things we found out that we were more alike than we were different, and especially when it comes to music, and so that was engaging. So what is your music? What story, or is there a story that your music tells?
I think every song tells a different story, and some are from the heart. Most of them are, but I would also say that some are just fun, feel good songs that, we shouldn't really read into so much. But, a lot of them, like, the first single I ever released is a song called Get Out of Bed. And people, when you hear the title, well, what is that all about? It's about, relationships and breaking up and things like that. And so many people have come to me and say, oh my gosh, are you okay? Like, after they hear the song, they think I'm like so depressed. And the reality is, I didn't even know that was in me when I wrote it, to be honest.
It's not about me, it's about you.
There you go, exactly.
Well, we'd like to thank our guest, Stephanie Lombardo, class of 2008, a film producer and creative arts professional. She's with the City Group, and we are so happy that you've been able to come to Lion Tales and share your story. One of, again, our great alumni.
Well,
and so we thank you for being here.
Well, I thank you guys so much, because this really means a lot to me. And a big shout out to Ron Hoffman, who's our engineer right now, also known as Ron Stevens on WHPC. And thank you both, Aurora and Lynnda. You guys are wonderful for having this program.
We want to thank you for being with us. My name is Dr. Lynnda Nadien, along with my fabulous friend Aurora Workman, president of the Nassau Community College Alumni Association. This show is a production of the Nassau Community College Alumni Association. You can visit us at nassaucommunitycollege.edu/WHPC for more information. Available as a podcast on iTunes, Android Podcasts, and Spreaker. Lion Tales is powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. We'll talk to you next week.